It's fatherlessness. You don't know what it feel like to be in the presence of a man that has some authority. How you gonna feel comfortable with this shit out in the world?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is why we end up struggling as young ladies trying to process and like feel comfortable around y'all. I feel like a nigga trying to control you. Feel like you're trying to tell me what to do. Feel like you're trying to use your money to do. It's a lot of shit we misperceive or we take it the wrong way.
I was way off.
Cause we don't know what it feel like to have a daddy that say, this is the decision as a man and ain't no woman coming and put her 2 cents on it, right?
Am I right or am I right or am I right? Right.
Then you always seeing how a woman solves and processes and run the household. This your programming. Now flip the same shit to a young boy. You 16, 17, fully grown in your build, but you only ever saw a woman run shit.
That's no good.
You only ever saw your mama, decide how stuff gonna go in the household. And we nurture her. So a lot of times women don't even realize all that fussing, the way you handling your son, you fucking him up.
Don't want to sound like a dick or nothing, but it says on your chart that you're fucked up. You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded. What I do is just like you know what I mean? Like.
And this is why it's a lot of niggas that they not gay. They heterosexual males. They are attracted to women, but they can't stand a fucking woman.
The fatherless daughter syndrome. It's known as daddy issues. It's an emotional disorder that stems from issues with trust and lack of self-esteem.
Okay.
That leads to a cycle of repeated dysfunctional decisions and relationships with men.
If the father's not in the home, the boy will find the father in the streets. If the streets raise you, then the judge becomes your mother and the prison becomes your home.
I like it here. These are my people.
I saw it in my generation and every generation before me and everyone since.
I never realized how much not having a dad affected me.
That didn't help at all.
I thought I was fine. I was like, okay, so I don't have a dad.
Do you think it's different for a girl versus a guy?
Yeah, because they say, right, a daughter's first love is gonna be her dad.
It is known. It is known.
So if you don't have that love, you don't have an example of what that's supposed to be. And I feel like that happened to me without me realizing. I was looking for love in all the wrong places.
Kids who lack fathers, first of all, they can find that to some degree in their friends. And that's often what fatherless boys do, in particular. They go into gangs.
Like I said, it was funny like that in the hood sometimes. You never knew what was going to happen or when.
And they generate the missing masculinity in the gang. Well, that's not so good because, what the hell do they know? They don't know anything, right? They're just stupid kids, and they're 15 years old, and their testosterone is pumping, and they're trying to get the hell away from their mother, which is what they're supposed to do.
Get out of here. And don't come back for 5 to 7 days.
And they're not in the right position to exercise any authority over themselves, so that's not good. They can find it in education, they can find it in books, they can find it in movies, they can find it in sports heroes and so forth, because the image of the father is fragmented and distributed among the community. But it's very, very difficult to not have a father.
If a man and wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail.
First day, huh? Well, stick with me. You're gonna be just fine.
But they have the same statistical chance as children raised by just their father. Girls with no fathers in the home have lower self-esteem.
I can't tell if I feel like my self-esteem has lowered or increased or just disappeared completely.
No father families more likely to be victims of abuse, especially with single mothers. Children with high BMI more often come from fatherless homes. Here's something: fathers have the fittest children. That was really interesting to me. The more opportunities a child has to interact with biological father, the less likely they are to commit a crime or have contact with the juvenile justice system. Okay, another way to say that is men and women who are incarcerated, the population of the prisons mostly encompass fatherless homes.
Right.
Now here's something that no one else has mentioned, which I think is cool, and I don't really say this eloquently. If a man and wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same statistical chance as children raised by just their father.
It's true.
If I'm being honest, the one or two women who I know who maybe are like very promiscuous and like really no strings attached and multiple guys each week or something, there's a level of trauma.
They messed us up pretty good, didn't they?
Like history there, either to do with a parent or to do with men or to do with themselves, that they need healing.
I know, it's hard.
And the constant rotation of different men and getting that sexual validation is masking the healing that needs to be done because they don't want to sit with themselves.
You're right. I know.
So like, you know, like you said, they might have gone through something and they just want to come back and have someone there, where really actually they should have no one there and they should sit with what they're going through so that they can get through that. Because if you just continue to have a guy there that's there to validate you sexual in the moment, which can be fun.
It's going to be so much fun.
And there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's consensual, but it means you're prolonging the healing process for you to get to a point that you can have something amazing with someone.
Do you think a lot of women are suffering with mental health because of this being too sexual with men?
Yes. Yeah. That's a lot. The reason why you hear me say it on the TikTok the other day, it was on the radio station, I was like, well, I clip that I'm TikToking, is because I know. Okay. I have been with girls where not have high body count, and I've been with girls where have high body count. So when I come out and talk now, I'm not talk just from what me feel, me experience it. Girls with high body count, they are very erratic, very mad, very crazy. And I've tested over the years, even before me know about the red pill things. I've been with girls, and this girl have sex with many men. By speaking to them, by being with them for a little while, you realize and them tell about them X and this and 9X, 12X, 15X, so X where you know personally, and they're really erratic and mad and can't control themselves. But because them have too much partner and them say the EPA sperm turn them in a meal.
Emotionally damaged people are always sexually promiscuous. Let me say this again. If you are traumatized, if you are emotionally damaged, you are promiscuous. And do you want to know why?
Damn. Why is that?
Emotionally traumatized people require constant validation from others. You married to a woman who's been traumatized, abuse, abandonment, whatever. When you're not around her for too many days, she has to entertain another man.
Love me. Love me. Love me. Love me.
Because her trauma dictates constant validation. And constant validation means I must have a man in my personal space.
The least you could do is be ashamed of your gender.
You ever date a woman who was crazy about you? She absolutely loved you, so you thought. It was really addiction.
Yeah.
When you finally let her go, when you finally got her to stop stalking you, she ended up with another man like that.
Another one. Another one. Another one. And another one.
And your ego took a hit. You said, wait a minute. I know that woman was crazy about me. Climbed in my window, came to my... You understand? She was...
I mean, look at fatherless homes, and the women that are coming out of fatherless homes are most likely, going to be on OnlyFans. They're going to go into things because they didn't have an actual leader in the household showing them what was good and what was bad.
Sometimes you don't make the right choices.
But hold on. So you're saying that you grew up in a kind of toxic environment, and that has been a blueprint, a framework for your current relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, but
perhaps even previous relationships, perhaps it might even be the case for your future relationships.
Yeah.
But you are not beholden. Like, if it's your, like, I feel like you're using it as justification to remain in your toxic relationship.
she's just using the technique.
Like, well, I just kind of have this ingrained in me, and I guess I have to be in a toxic relationship.
Here are the stats. The U.S. has the highest rate of children living in single-parent households of any nation. About 80% of single-parent homes are led by single mothers.
It's true.
At a rate of 20%, 23% of children living with one parent and no other adult. The United States is 3 times the world average of 7%. So
Okay.
23% is US, 7% is world average, China's 3%, India's 4%, okay? Where a mom isn't there or a dad isn't there.
All right.
Even for children with a father present in the home, the average school age boy only spends about 30 minutes per week in one-on-one conversations with his father. For comparison, the same boy on average will spend about 44 hours per week watching television, playing video games, and surfing the internet.
That's insane.
90% of all homelessness and runaway children, 63% of teen suicides, 85% of children and teens with behavioral disorders come from fatherless homes.
That's really sad.
Fatherlessness likewise has a direct link to teen pregnancy and sexual activity. Roughly 70% of teenage pregnancies come from women raised in fatherless homes, and these same women have significantly higher abortion rates.
I could not be more proud of you for getting this abortion.
Than women raised by both a father and a mother. On the whole, fatherless kids are 20 times more likely to be incarcerated and 11 times more likely to exhibit violent behavior than children of two-parent households. If a man and a wife, this one's one of the most interesting stats, if a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chance as children raised by just their father.
Promiscuous woman cannot be a good wife, any more than a man with a history of being an abusive alcoholic can make a good husband. Likewise, the promiscuous woman. She has an addiction to attention.
Oh no, someone's gonna get more attention than me.
The only way she can feel validated is receiving attention from new men. She can date men for a few weeks, maybe even a few months, but as soon as it registers in her mind that this guy has made a commitment to her, he is a boyfriend, he's not going anywhere, she puts him, in her mind, in a different box.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
He's a different man that is simply not able to validate her. Now what happens is that all of these women eventually hit a point in life that they realize they don't want to be alone and they need some stability and security in their lives. So they'll make very sincere efforts at making a relationship work.
We had a fight and then we both need a minute to catch our breath.
Problem is, however, he doesn't validate her, and so she does not have any genuine romantic desire for him. For men, however, it's a tough spot. Most of us have a natural drive to operate from a sense of duty, i.e., protector, provider.
No one takes my wife's mouth, except me.
So when such a woman is with a man in the moment, she can be very sincere when she speaks of love and loyalty and wanting to ride off in the sunset together. But when that man's not around, she's basically single because of an addiction for attention that feeds her need for validation. Validation that a committed boyfriend, and especially a husband, simply cannot give her.
When we talk about fatherless households, a lot of times we try to scapegoat the effects of that to men. As if a father not raising his children doesn't affect all of the children regardless of their gender.
And it really messed me up.
The reason I bring that up, if I have not had a man to show me how to refine whatever version of manhood we subscribe to in my house, then you also have not seen a man interact with your mother and respect her feelings. You have not ever, if you subscribe to traditional patriarchy relationship, then you've never yielded to the authority of a man.
Fact.
You've never practiced trusting the leadership and authority of a man, so you are just as clumsy as me for different reasons, right?
Right.
And then thing two to just take with you, black men, if you hear, we need to start stepping into the lives of these young boys.
Fatherless children spend the majority of their lifetime chasing acceptance.
I want in the club so bad.
Like fatherless daughters who look for affection with men through sex and collecting emotional wounds, causing them to wear a mask and costume.
True love first begins with loving myself.
So by the time they meet Mr. Right, their heart is so broken and no longer bloom like beautiful flowers in sunlight. Many women who were raised without their fathers are usually attracted to older men.
Did you mount her? Oh, Dad. No, wait a minute. Has she got big thighs? No. No? Then what's the problem? If I was a young fella like you, I'd be mounting every woman in Wabasha.
As a way to fulfill the void in their heart from not having their father, they look for daddy and all the wrong men. Here are a few quotes from women who were raised without their fathers.
Being a fatherless daughter has made me very bitter. It's hard for me to trust men because of my father. My dad broke my heart before any guy ever had a chance to.
Listen, if you are a fatherless daughter, learn to give yourself some closure. Closure is coming to terms with the situation and permitting yourself to move forward. If you don't give yourself closure, you will remain emotionally stuck.